The loudest voice rarely wins. It's the quiet one with purpose that conquers. In this noisy world, silence isn't a void, but a secret weapon. When you speak less, people listen more. When you observe more, you outmaneuver the crowd. Your restraint, in a world addicted to noise, becomes an undeniable competitive edge. But be cautious. Revealing too much surrenders your advantage. True strength resides in silence. Real power is felt, not shouted. Will you discipline your voice and sharpen your actions? Or continue to dissipate your strength through needless words? The world is watching. In just a moment, you'll discover how silence becomes your secret weapon to achieve greater wins by speaking less and doing more. The power of purposeful silence. Have you ever noticed that the most influential people in a room are often those who speak the least? They listen intently, observe carefully, and when they finally speak, everyone leans in to hear. This isn't coincidence. This is the power of purposeful silence at work. In a world that celebrates noise, rewards the loudest voice, and constantly demands your attention and words, silence has become a forgotten art. But make no mistake, silence is not the absence of power. It is power. The ability to remain quiet when others clamor to be heard is a sign of supreme self-control and inner strength. Think about the great minds who have shaped our world. Did they rise to prominence by constantly announcing their intentions? No. They worked in focused silence until their results spoke volumes. Purposeful silence allows you to conserve your mental energy. Every word you speak costs you something: attention, focus, energy that could be directed toward your goals. When you choose to speak less, you automatically create space to do more. This isn't about becoming uncommunicative. It's about becoming intentional with your words and your energy. The power of silence extends beyond just restraining your speech. It encompasses the disciplined quieting of negative self-talk, the silencing of excuses, and the muting of distractions that pull you away from your purpose. When you embrace purposeful silence, you begin to hear the whispers of opportunity drowned out by constant chatter. You might wonder, how do I harness this power of silence in my own life? The answer is simple yet profound. Begin by listening twice as much as you speak. When in meetings, resist the urge to immediately voice your opinion. Instead, absorb what others are saying, process it fully, and then, only if necessary, offer your wisdom. Notice how people respond differently to your words when they come from a place of thoughtful silence, rather than reactive speech. Muhammad Ali, one of history's greatest boxers, once said that the fight is won or lost far away from witnesses, in the gym, on the road, long before he danced under those lights. His most significant victories weren't won with his famous wordplay, but in the silent, grueling hours of training when no one was watching. Embrace the power of purposeful silence. Let your actions crescendo while your words remain measured and few. Remember that a waterfall makes noise, but the deep ocean is silent, and it is in the ocean's depths where true power lies. Your journey to success begins not with proclamations, but with quiet determination. Start today. Speak less, listen more, work diligently in silence, and watch as your results begin to make all the noise you'll ever need. Why silence matters. Have you ever stopped to notice just how noisy your life has become? Not just the audible noise, though there's plenty of that, but the constant barrage of information, opinions, and distractions that flood your consciousness every waking moment. Endless meetings and incessant chatter have created a world where silence has become a rare commodity. This noise isn't just annoying, it's costing you your success. When your mind is constantly bombarded with information, it becomes impossible to think deeply, to reflect meaningfully, to plan strategically. The noise of modern life has become the greatest thief of your potential. But the problem goes deeper than just productivity. This constant noise affects your ability to make good decisions. When you're always reacting to the latest emergency, responding to the most recent request, or getting pulled into another conversation, you lose the space needed for strategic thinking. The noise crowds out the silence required for wisdom to emerge. John F. Kennedy would regularly schedule thinking time in his presidential calendar, blocks where he would retreat from the chaos of the Oval Office to reflect and consider the most pressing issues facing the nation. These weren't luxuries, they were necessities for clear-headed leadership. Create physical spaces that invite silence, even if it's just a corner of your home where you can sit undisturbed for 15 minutes. Having a dedicated place for quiet reflection can transform your thinking. The great industrialist Andrew Carnegie had a special room in his home where he would retreat to think without distraction. A practice that contributed significantly to his extraordinary success. Silence matters because it is only in silence that certain crucial mental processes can occur. It's in silence that you connect disparate ideas to form innovation. It's in silence that you reflect on your true priorities rather than simply responding to whatever seems urgent. It's in silence that you can hear your own wisdom rather than constantly absorbing the opinions of others. The noise of modern life wants to rob you of your greatest asset, your ability to think clearly and act decisively. Don't surrender this power willingly. Fight for silence. Protect it as the precious resource it is. For in a world that seems to value noise above all, the ability to cultivate silence has become a tremendous competitive advantage. Choose silence strategically and watch as your mental clarity, your decisiveness, and ultimately your results begin to separate you from the noisy, you can adopt in your quest for achievement. When you enter a new situation, whether it's a business negotiation, a social gathering, or even starting a new job, there's immense pressure to prove yourself immediately, to speak up, to show what you know. But this impulse, while natural, often leads to premature action based on incomplete information. The strategic use of silence gives you the advantage of gathering crucial intelligence before making your move. Consider the chess master who studies the board intently before touching a piece. Or the skilled negotiator who allows the other party to speak first, revealing valuable information about their position. This strategic silence isn't passive, it's intensely active, a concentrated gathering of data that will inform more effective action. The great military strategist Sun Tzu understood this principle well when he advised that all warfare is based on deception. By remaining silent about your intentions while carefully observing your competition, you gain a tremendous tactical advantage. This same principle applies in business, in personal development, and in virtually every competitive arena. Mahatma Gandhi, despite being known for his powerful influence, was often silent during critical meetings, speaking only when necessary and with carefully chosen words. This strategic use of silence made his statements all the more impactful when he did choose to speak. So how do you implement this strategy in your own life? Start by approaching new situations with the mindset of an anthropologist, observing cultural norms, power dynamics, and unstated rules before asserting yourself. In meetings, practice being the second or third person to speak rather than the first, allowing you to build upon others' ideas from a position of greater information. When you enter negotiations, resist the urge to you handle your successes and plans. When you're working toward an important goal, there's often social pressure to announce your intentions publicly. Yet research consistently shows that talking about your plans gives you a premature sense of accomplishment, reducing the likelihood you'll put in the work to actually achieve them. The most determined achievers often work in silence, letting their results speak for themselves when the time is right. Strategic silence gives you the space to observe patterns that others miss, to identify opportunities that remain invisible to those too busy talking, and to act from a position of superior knowledge when the moment is right. It transforms you from a reactive participant into a strategic player who shapes circumstances rather than merely responding to them. Embrace silence as your strategy. Watch more, speak less, gather intelligence before making your move, and when you do act, do so with the full power of comprehensive understanding behind you. The connection between silence and self-mastery. Have you ever wondered why the truly great masters The world is filled with talkers. But achievement belongs to the doers. When you focus your energy on taking consistent action rather than discussing your intentions, you create momentum that no amount of conversation can generate. This silent approach to achievement serves you in multiple ways, not least by protecting your goals from the subtle sabotage that often comes from premature sharing. Psychology research has consistently shown that talking about your goals triggers a premature sense of completeness. When you receive social acknowledgement for discussing what you intend to do, your brain registers a reward similar to having actually done it. This false sense of progress reduces your motivation to put in the hard work necessary for actual achievement. So how do you become a silent achiever in your own